I'm scrolling on my Facebook page, feeling curious, attorney months. He's got the legal education.
Naman po ulit tayo sa ating under the law. Alright? So, it's been long, no? Tagal na tayo hindi nagkakasama-sama because na-busy na tayo sa ating primary work. Pero, pinipilit pa rin po natin na mag-provide pa rin tayo ng topics, especially doon sa mga bagay na I believe na very important. So, alam naman natin, may mga balita tayo na naririnig ngayon. Pero let's just focus on yung isa na hindi man ako triggered, pero I think it's a very good topic, especially paano pa siya ginagawa yung procedure. Hindi man natin matalakay lahat, pero we will provide as many facts as possible as I simplify natin. Alright? So, ang topic natin sa araw na to is currently, 66 na pala tayo, is yung warrant of arrest. So, marami yung ganap, no? Maraming ganap these past few days. Actually, makakalimang araw. Hindi doon sa kay Alice Guo, kundi doon sa issue ng KOGC or Kingdom of Jesus Christ. So, alam naman natin, sa mga hindi nakakaalam, at saka yung may idea insofar as the news is concerned, the Pasig, the RTC Pasig and the RTC of QC, no, nag-file, ginrant yung kanilang or nag-submit ng court order, which is the warrant of arrest. At the same time, yung Congress nag-issue din ng warrant of arrest against Pastor Kibuloy. So, to reiterate, the Pastor Kibuloy is, according to him, marami tayong mga nakinarinig na news. Pastor Kibuloy claim himself as the appointed son of God. In other international news, tawag sa kanya is the Messiah, no, the person claiming to be Messiah, and he's also the religious leader of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ. So, because marami siyang kaso, mainly on the human trafficking, nag-issue na this year yung mga courts na yon about sa warrant of arrest. So, yung warrant of arrest, dinirect doon sa Kingdom of Jesus Christ. Take note, Kingdom of Jesus Christ is located in Davao, and the territory, the dimension of the territory is around 30 hectares. So, teka lang, natin. Paano ba, sir, yung 30 hectares? Tingnan natin, yung 30 hectares. Para tiskuan naman, ma-visual natin. Alam naman natin yung square meter, no? 30 hectares to square meter. So, that is around 300,000 square meter. Yung mga bahay natin, possible, 100 to 300 square meter. 300 is already big na. 100 is a typical house. Imagine 300,000 square meter. Marami mga gusali. Accordingly, meron 20 to 22 na buildings nandoon. So, on August 24, 2024, that is 4 or 5 days ago, pinaniniwalaan ni director sa Davao na si Pastor Kibuloy is inside the Kingdom of Jesus Christ. So, ang ginawa niya is kumuha siya ng 2,000 PNP personnel, mga police, not only in the Davao area, but all nationwide, no? Pati sa Manila, nakakuha na sila. Imagine 2,000 individuals are coming, no, to serve the warrant of arrest. So, this warrant of arrest, nakita natin sa video, if you can see some of the videos, at saka mga news, broadcast video, live broadcast news, nandoon yung sabi is about doon sa nagtapon ng tear gas. Ano ba yung effect ng tear gas? Yung sa tear gas, sir, yun yung mapapaluha ka doon, tapos para siyang smoke. Hindi hindi siya nakakamatay, possible pwede pang mamatay yung tao, pero masakit yun sa mata at saka mahirap kang huminga doon. So, tapos may nakita naman tayong video na sinipa sa ulo yung isang missionary sa loob ng ewan ko lang kung sa loob o sa labas ba yun ng KOGC. Tapos armed with armed personnel, no, may baril sila, and accordingly at saka meron silang mga anti-rally. Gumamit din sila ng yung parang amplifier ba yun na nakakabingi daw. Yun para kumbaga to have a damage control, no, or crowd control. So syempre, maraming sabi-sabi, nagsabi din yung ating Senate, yung may mga pros, may pro na sabi nila yung warrant of arrest is valid. May nagsabi naman na Senate and sa Congress, o Congressman or House of Representatives, na it is unconstitutional. And we also have the IBP, Davao, who condemns, they condemn that this so-called unlawful arrest, unlawful taking, the invalid, procedure, irregularities while serving the warrant of arrest. Especially, yung ginawa is not only sa front, pinasukan, nakapasok naman yung ating mga pulis, but also giniba din yung isa sa likod ng KOJC. Basta may makita nyo yun sa video. So, we're just going to talk about the general rules sa ating warrant of arrest at saka paano siya nangyayari. Alright? Tapos i-apply natin yung case. Okay? So, ang warrant of arrest, according sa ating rules of court, binanggit dito sa ating rules of court kung paano ba na-i-issue ang isang warrant of arrest. Paano ba yan? Paano ba nagagawa yung warrant of arrest? Kailangan bang may trial tapos okay na? Parang kumbaga makasuhan na siya, kailangan ma-final judgment na. Hindi, kasi sabi dito sa Rule 112 Preliminary Investigation, when warrant of arrest may issue, A, by the regional trial court within 10 days from the filing of the complaint or information, the judge shall personally evaluate the resolution of the prosecutor and its supporting evidence. He may immediately dismiss the case if the evidence on record clearly fails, kung ito dismiss to, clearly fails to establish probable cause. If he finds probable cause, he shall issue a warrant of arrest or a commitment order if the accused has already been arrested pursuant to a warrant issued by the judge who conducted the preliminary investigation or when the complaint or information was filed pursuant to Section 7 of this rule. In case of doubt on the existence of probable cause, the judge may order the prosecutor to present additional evidence within 5 days from notice, and the issue must be resolved by the court within 30 days from the filing of the complaint of information. So, sabi dito is the probable cause. Kailangan lang po ng probable cause. Same pa din po ba sila sa municipal trial court? Yes po. Generally speaking po, yes. Hindi natin kailangan basahin yung the rest kasi municipal trial court yan. At saka warrantless arrest. So, we can explain or expound that or discuss that in future under the law natin na topics. Pero pag-usapan na lang muna natin yung warrant of arrest. Ang sabi dito sa Rule 112, Section 6 and Section 6A at saka B, it's either municipal trial court or regional trial court. Pwede po silang because of the probable cause, pag ma-evaluate na ni judge na meron ng probable cause, pwede na siyang mag-issue ng warrant of arrest, within 10 days yung from filing, within the 10 days after filing ng complaint, nakita ni judge tapos satisfied na siya doon, pwede na siyang maghain ng warrant of arrest. Yung warrant of arrest ay isang procedure kung saan hinuhuli ang isang akusado para masimulan yung pagtatrial, paghusga sa kanyang mga kasalanan. So, mukha siyang easy, mukha siyang madali tingnan sa scope ng ordinary eye sa layman, pero whenever the warrant of arrest is given, yung judge is panatag siya doon sa mga evidences, testimonies at witnesses na nakuha niya bago siya maghain ng warrant of arrest. Ayan. So, yan yung sinabi sa Rule 112. Now, sa Rule 113, ito naman yung paano naman yung pag-arrest. Alright? Again, sa rules of court to ha. Section 2, Rule 113 arrest. Section 2, arrest. How it is made or how made. An arrest is made by an actual restraint of a person to be arrested or by his submission to the custody of the person making the arrest. Sabi dito is an actual restraint. Walang sinabi no. No violence or unnecessary force shall be used in making an arrest. The person arrested shall not be subject to a greater restraint that is necessary for his detention. So, ang pag mag-arrest ka ng tao, kailangan lang walang violence at saka unnecessary force. Kaya nga, ginagamit palagi sa ating mga kapulisan or persons na with authorities, they always have to use this maximum tolerance. This is why, policemen, kahit sabihin natin dali-dali ng mga trabaho ng sa mga parokyano, no, it's not. Because ang general or golden rule nila is hindi sila magre-retaliate. They will exercise this maximum tolerance. Paano napuputol yung maximum tolerance? Like say for example, yung sa arrest na yun, bumunot ng baril, yung accused, i-arrest na, pwede nilang barilin. For example is nanlaban, so pwede nila silang i-restrain. Iba kasi yung retaliation insofar self-defense is concerned. Sa pag mag-retaliate yan nga, binugbog mo siya. So like say example, there was one case decided by the Supreme Court. This actually warrantless arrest nga lang, nag-bypass operation, tapos babae yung nahuli, dahil yung babae nanlaban, ayaw siyang magpaposas, sinuntok at pinagsisipa pa ng pulis yung accused. So bawal yun. So, especially applying this sa warrant of arrest. So kung magre-restrain niya, maximum tolerance. No violence or unnecessary force shall be used in making an arrest. Section 3, ito ang duty. Duty of arresting officer. It shall be the duty of the officer executing the warrant of arrest, the accused, and to deliver him to the nearest police station or jail without unnecessary delay. So, simple, very self-explanatory. Pag mahuli, wala nang patumpik-tumpik pa. Diretso na kagad sa police station or sa kulungan without delay. Section 4, execution of warrant. Ito yung pag-execute ng warrant of arrest. The head of the office to whom the warrant of arrest was delivered for execution shall cause the warrant to be executed within 10 days from its receipt. Within 10 days after the expiration of the period, the officer to whom it was assigned for execution shall make a report to the judge who issued the warrant. In case of his failure to execute the warrant, he shall state the reason therefore. Kung hindi tayo nagkakamali, itong execution ng warrant of arrest, in so far as the kingdom of Jesus Christ and the compound in the kingdom of Jesus Christ or KOGC at saka kay Pastor Kibuloy, ikalawa na po nang ginaganap itong pag-issue ng warrant of arrest doon. Pero this time, ang ginawa ng ating kapulisan, they used by forcing their way inside the KOJC to not only issue the warrant of arrest, but to manhunt. Imamanhunt nila yung accused, no? Na accordingly, it was Pastor Kibuloy and other, kung di ako nakamali, 4 or 5 accused, no? Na according na, which is included in the warrant of arrest. So, another one, Rule 113 sa arrest, we have here Section 6, time of making arrest. An arrest may be made in any day and at any time or of the day or night. Naganap sa KOGC is 4 a.m. Okay po yun. Wala pong paglabag yun sa batas po. So, hindi naman inaantay naman na magising yung tao bago mo siya ikulong, no? Any time of the day. Pero iba siya sa search warrant kasi accordingly sa search warrant, it should be daytime. Right? Section 7, method of arrest by virtue of Section 7, method of arrest by officer by virtue of warrant. When making an arrest by virtue of a warrant, the police officer or the officer shall inform the person to be arrested of the cause of the arrest and of the fact that a warrant has been issued for his arrest, except when he flees or forcibly resists before the officer has opportunity to so inform him, or when the giving of such information will imperil the arrest. The officer need not to have warrant in his possession at the time of the arrest, but after the arrest, if the person arrested so requires, the warrant shall be shown to him as soon as practicable. Okay, so ito yung mangyari. Di ba doon sa issue ng Kingdom of Jesus Christ, is tinatanong ng ating si Attorney Torion, the legal counsel of the KOGC. Sabi niya is, nasaan yung warrant nyo? Ang sabi ng ating mga kapulisan, they have the alias warrant of arrest. So, ito magde-define na hindi po yon invalid. Okay? Hindi po yon unlawful. Alias warrant of arrest does not mean alias lang siya. Meron talaga siyang warrant of arrest, but during the time of that, they want to seize and they want to arrest this accused inside the warrant of arrest, pwede silang magbigay lang muna ng mag-inform sila meron kaming alias warrant of arrest, pero after that, if the accused is arrested and the counsel would ask for the warrant, now they can now give the said warrant of arrest order. That is found in Section 7 at Rule 113. So pagpasok doon ni Director Director of the Police, PNP, ay sabi niya is magbigay siya ng alias warrant of arrest that is valid. Alright? So, pero pwede naman siyang i-request yung original. Kasi yung original copy mo, no? As soon as practicable naman. So, syempre, hindi makailangan pag gawin mo yun, especially when you are executing the warrant of arrest, your duty as a police officer. Kasi baka makatakas pa yung tao. Alright? Or baka makalaya, or baka kung saan-saan pa, baka hindi pa mahanap. Okay, another Rule 113 arrest, Section 11, right of officer to break into building or enclosure. So ito yung mga makikita natin na pwede natin pag-usapan in relation sa KOJC, compound. Okay, so Section 11, right of the officer to break into building or enclosure. An officer, ito yung mga karapatan lang manggiba, An officer, in order to make an arrest, either by virtue of a warrant or without a warrant as provided in Section 5, may break into any building or enclosure where the person to be arrested is or reasonably believed to be if he is refused admittance thereto after announcing his authority and purpose. Section 12, right to break out from the building or enclosure whenever an officer has entered the building or enclosure in accordance with the preceding section, he may break out therefrom when necessary to liberate himself. So, yung paggiba ng mga pulis sa likod, there are two sides of coin para sa akin na I believe na pwedeng tama, pwedeng mali. So, unahin muna natin yung tama. Tama siya na nagbinrake nila, binasag, binutasan nila yung yung bakuran ng KOJC, doon sila pumasok kasi they were refused to be admitted. Yung mga members ng ating KOGC, hindi nila pinahintulutan yung mga pulis na pumasok sa front gate. Kaya pumasok sila. So sige, I could say, yes, pabor ako doon. However, cons naman ako doon. Bakit? Kumukontra naman ako doon. Kasi, although they are refused to admittance, nakapasok pa rin sila kasi winarningan sila ni PNP Director na babasagin namin to pag ninyo kami pinapasok. But after 30 minutes, pinapasok din sila. So, for me, that can be good at the same, and that can be valid and at the same time invalid. Kasi bakit nila sinira yung building o yung bakuran, yung backyard or yung gate sa likod, pwede mo pala sila pumasok sa gate, pakiusapan lang. Alright? Now, another also the procedure that I also want to include kasi talagang napaka-importante din dito is may nakita tayo sa December 2013 ay Philippine National Police Handbook. Ito yung procedure nila sa serving of warrant of arrest. Although hindi ito kumpleto, pero at least makikita natin dito kung paano nila ginagamit yung issue in so far as ginagamit nila, yung warrant of arrest order at saka ano yung procedure na ginagawa nila. So this is actually the PNP Police Handbook, which is these are the procedure. So under 13.5 procedure, serving of warrant of arrest. So number 1, verify the validity of the warrant and request for an authenticated copy from the issuing court. Number 2, in serving the warrant, the police officer should introduce himself and show proper identification. Ito yung ginagawa ng mga pulis, ha. So bali number 1, kailangan niya i-verify muna kung totoo ba talaga itong warrant of arrest ba to. So syempre, kukuha siya ng authenticated copy. Ikalawa is, pag mag-serve siya ng warrant, magpapakilala na siya. So, of course, papakilala ko, ako yung police officer, tapos ito yung warrant of arrest namin, and ito yung mga ID namin. Number 3 is make a manifestation of authority against the person to be arrested. So, ang make manifestation usually, yung mga may ko, papasukan ka namin, or ganito. Usually, yung sa mga nakita natin sa mga movies, actually na-apply doon sa KOGC compound na sinabi lang, makapasok kami kasi ganito, kami ang mga pulis, papasukin ka namin, magkakain kami ng warrant of arrest para huli po si Pastor Kibuloy. Pag hindi kayo pinapasok, ay babasagin namin or sisirain namin para lang makapasok kami sa building. Alright? O makapasok kami sa compound. Number 4, if refused entry, the police officer may break into any residence, office, building, and other structure. Kung hindi sila pinayagang pumasok, they can break, no? Of course, reasonable. Hindi porkit naman na they may break kung pwede naman daanan naman ng yung tao, yung butas na yon. Huwag nyo naman butasin na parang pwedeng daanan ng tangke. Alright? O daanan ng train. Alright? Important is reasonable. So where the person to be arrested is in or is reasonably believed to be in after announcing his purpose. Bakit sinasabi yung reasonably believed in? Kasi of course, no, wala na problema in so far kung you have personally belief, you know it already, it's there. Pero because you have the suspicion, that suspicion can be valid, no? May or may not be valid. In the case of KOGC compound, because marami ang gusali doon, and the 30 hectares yun, and the police will serve the warrant of arrest believing that since that is the place where he was the leader, pwede po nilang basagin yun. Pwede nilang sirain yun, no? Because they believe that the Pastor Kibuloy is inside the KOJC. Number 5, the police officer need not to have a copy of the warrant in his possession at the time of arrest. So, hindi naman kailangan yung warrant of arrest during the time of serving the warrant of arrest. Pag mahuli na siya, syempre, you have the right to remain silent, anything, yung Miranda rights. So, counsel, you have the right to have a counsel. So, yung counsel, pag mag-ask yung counsel, ano yung warrant of arrest mo, pwede mo na ibigay. If the person arrested so requires, the warrant shall be shown to the arrested officer as soon as possible. Now, merong akong gustong ilagay dito na topic. I'm not really sure if that's actually allowed contention. Kasi, legal counsel attorney Torion, sinabi niya, hindi nila pwedeng sirain ang mga gusali at saka basta-basta na lang silang magkaroon ng breakage or whatever infrastructure sa loob ng KOGC kasi daw yung KOGC was not owned solely by Pastor Kibuloy. It was a corporate entity and it is owned by the KOJC, Kingdom of Jesus Christ Corporation. So, para sa akin, they can break reasonably. Pero they cannot break unlawfully. Now, ang question is what is reasonable and what is unlawful. Right? So, hindi natin alam yan. So, magdedepende yan kung how the court will, decide on that. Okay, another procedure, nasa A pa rin tayo. Number 6, secure the person to be arrested and use handcuffs for the protection of the arresting officer or other individuals or the arrested person himself. Posasan. Okay. Sorry. Conduct through search for weapons and other illegal materials on the person arrested and surrounding within his immediate control. Please take note, this is very, very important. Kasi ang ini-issue natin ay warrant of arrest. So, kung may makita doon ng mga illegal na droga, illegal na mga baril, hindi po pwede nilang kunin. Kasi walang search na incidental to warrant of walang warrant of arrest attached with search warrant. Iba ang dapat ipa-file mo rin yun. Pa-file mo rin yun for a search warrant, no? Magpipetition ka pa rin sa court na magsi-search warrant. Tandaan nyo dahil may warrant of arrest, ang huhulihin si Pastor Kibuloy or yung accused, hahabulin sila. Pero pag the moment na nahuli sila, tapos nakapkapan na meron siyang mga dalang mga bagay, pwede sabihin natin doon na it is an arrest, it's a search warrant, it's a search incidental to arrest. So, syempre, pag mahuli mo yung isang akusado, kailangan mo kapkapin yun. So, of course, visibility din, visibility. Pero, bawal na dahil hawak mo yung warrant of arrest, dahil mo hindi mo mahanap yung isang akusado, makikita mo yung mga droga dyan, kukunin ko yan kasi drugs yan, that's illegal. That is wrong. Kasi you entered to a premises with a warrant, and this warrant only includes the arrest warrant and nothing more. So, if you have, yes po. Yes. Yes, sir. Oh, na-explain sa akin. So, pero kailangan mo pa rin, i-submit pa rin yung iba. Pero wala, Kuha ka ng envelope. Wala akong envelope eh. Hindi, bukas. Ha? Sige. Bro, kasi po, nubusan na kami. Ha? Sige, sir. Sige, ano ba? Wala na? Okay lang? Okay. Sige. Okay, so, we are going to, so insofar as naman is, di ba, yun, so pwede siya kapan. So yun yung conduct through search for weapons and other illegal materials surrounding within his immediate control. Ayan. So ano ba yun? For example, yung akusado, nahuli siya sa third floor. Pero nung pinasadahan ng mga pulis yung mga baril sa gilid, nakasabit kasi collector siya ng mga baril, mga basuka, mga kanyon, ganun. So, napasadahan nila pero nahuli nila yung akusado sa third floor. According dito sa number 7 sa PNP Police Handbook, pwede ka lang mag-search ng mga weapons and illegal materials within the surrounding, sa surrounding niya. Kasi nga, ang dala mo lang ay warrant of arrest. So, sir, nakita ko sa baba, di mag-file ka ng search warrant. No, hindi pwede na lahat na lang kunin mo. Ayan. Number 8, inform the person to be arrested of his rights under the law, the Miranda warning or the Miranda rights. Alright, so normally you have the right to remain silent. Anything that you say will be used against you in the court of law, and you have the right to have an attorney. If you don't have one, we will provide one for you. So, do you understand this right, sir? Yes, sir. Yun, ganun siya. Kailangan, guys, mga ate at kuya, yung tinatawag nilang Miranda rights. Kasi, pag wala kang Miranda rights, pwedeng kulang yung pag-dispense ng arrest. Alright? Number 9, no unnecessary force shall be used in making an arrest. If ever nahuli na siya. Number 10, confiscated evidence shall be properly documented in the chain of custody of evidence duly and clearly established. Ano ba chain of custody? No, this is very applicable sa drugs. Sabi ko na sa iyo yung drugs. So, yung drugs cases, may mga procedure yan. Next is bring the attested person to the police station for documentation. Number 12, make a return of warrant to the court of origin. Ibalik mo yung warrant doon sa court and deliver the arrested person to jail or prison upon issuance of commitment order of the court. Okay? Another one, ito naman yung 13.6 na duties of the arresting officers. Pag-usapan talaga natin kung anong mga importante na mga facts na kailangan nating intindihin in so far as the duties is concerned. So, letter A, it shall be the duty of the police officer implementing the warrant of arrest to deliver the arrested person without delay to the nearest police station or jail to record the fact of the arrest. So, kailangan walang delay. Yan ang sinabi sa duties ng arresting officer. Letter B, at the time of the arrest, it shall be the duty of the arresting officer to inform the person attested of the cause of the arrest and the fact that a warrant had been issued for his arrest. An arresting officer need not to have the warrant in his possession at the time of the arrest, but after the arrest, if the person arrested so requires, the warrant shall be shown to him as soon as possible. So, normally, aside from Miranda rights, pag mahuli mo na yung accused, kailangan mo rin sabihin sa kanya kung ano ba yung nature ng accusation sa kanya. Ikaw ay mayroon po kayong kaso na murder, ganito ganyan. Explain mo lang yung synopsis, alright? Or the overview ng kaso mo. Hindi mo kailangan i-detail lahat-lahat. Sino nagkaso sa'yo, sino yung pangalan, kailan yung araw, ano yung basta. Sabi mo lang, yung may kaso ka lang, alright? At least naman, he knew or he knows the nature of accusation against him. Okay, letter C, when women or children are among the arrested suspects, the arresting officer shall task the Women's and Children Protection Desk, WCPD officer, or a policewoman who is familiar with the Women and Children Protection Desk duties to conduct the pat-down search. So, pag women and children, yung kasama sa mga arrested suspect, kailangan may babae. Bawal magkapkap yung mga lalaki. Alright. Okay, letter D. In case of arrest without warrant, it shall be the duty of the arresting officer to inform the person to be arrested his authority and the cause of the arrest except when he flees or forcibly resists before the arresting officer has the opportunity to inform him or when giving such information will imperil the arrest. Alright? Di naman kailangan pang sabihin yung nature of accusations pag tumakas yung isang or tumakbo yung isang akusado. Okay. Another very good also na question was provided in courtesy and credits to Respicio and Co. law firm. What happens if an arrest warrant is deemed invalid? If an arrest warrant is found to be invalid and any arrest made under such warrant can be contested and the person arrested may be entitled to file a case for damages due to illegal arrest or detention. So, dito natin, we will see how it will unfold doon sa case ni Pastor Kibuloy, yung valid ba o invalid ba yung warrant of arrest. Kasi yung warrant of arrest, hindi lang yung point dito is yung mahuhuli na si Pastor Kibuloy. Yung process ng paghuli, yung tama ba, yung paggiba nila sa sa likod ng compound ng QGC, tama ba na gumamit sila ng sandamakmak na mga tao? Tama ba na manira sila sa loob accordingly? Tama ba yung pagtapon nilang tear gas para magkaroon ng crowd control? Tama ba na manakit sila ng tao when they are issuing the warrant of arrest? Sabi dito, pwede nilang i-contest, no? Pwede nilang i-contest and pwede silang entitled for damages. Nako. Now, we also have here sa Napolcom, no? Nakita ko rin to. This is, if I'm not mistaken, this is, so this is actually a 1998, which talks about the Philippine National Police is now under the administrative control and operational supervision of the National Police Commission or Napolcom. Sa Napolcom, meron din silang guidelines, no? Itong guidelines na to is insofar as the administrative offenses and penalties is concerned. Doon ko nakita na pwede natin i-apply yung mga invalid warrant of arrest or unlawful procedures, irregular duties of police officers when they issue the warrant of arrest. We are currently taking the example of the KOJC incident. Alright? So, Republic Act 8551, the Napolcom. According dito, insofar as the warrant of arrest is concerned, sabi dito, administrative offenses and penalties. Rule 21, offenses. Section 1, offenses punishable. The following are the offenses punishable and defined as follows. Una, number 2, irregularities in the performance of duty or misfeasance is the improper performance of some act which might lawfully be done. Ayan, pwede mag-fall doon, no? Pwede silang administratively liable these irregularities in the performance of duty, no? Sinabi ko na nga, no, nagamit sila ng mga dahas, nanira sila ng sa bakura ng KOGC, may sinaktan sila, nagtapon pa ng tear gas, gumagamit pa na yung parang speaker na nakakabingi, yung parang amplifier ba yun? The next is misconduct or malfeasance. Is any wrongful, improper, or unlawful conduct motivated by premeditated, obstinate, or intentional purpose. It usually refers to transgression of some established and definite rule of action where no discretion is left except where the necessity may demand. It does not necessarily imply corruption or criminal intention. So ito yung mga ang nangyari dito is hindi mga issues dito na pwedeng kung masabi is mga wrongful act is yung hindi pinapapasok yung legal counsel. Although may reason ang ating kapulisan na hindi pasok yung mga KOJC members kasi sobra nilang dami, but even the counsels, the lawyers was not allowed to enter the premises of the KOJC compound, which is for us, it is improper and unlawful conduct. Bakit? Isa lang naman siya or 5 lang sila eh. So the question is why he or they were not allowed to enter during the issuance of the warrant of arrest, right? And possible din, no, is it's a 5 days already. 5 days in the making na po yung ating warrant of arrest issuance. Kung mamaisip nyo, medyo matagal-tagal na. Alright. Number 7, oppression imports an act of cruelty, severity, unlawful exaction, domination, or excessive use of authority. Excessive use of authority. The exercise of unlawful powers or other means in depriving an individual of his property or liberty against his will is generally an act of oppression. O, sige, pwede na sabihin natin, 2,000 PNP, it's already an oppression kasi sa sobrang lang dami, it's an excessive use of authority. Pwede sabihin po natin na nagkaroon din po ng unlawful use of power, no? Kasi may mga sinaktan din sila. Oppression yun. Okay, pag-usapan naman natin yung ano yung liability nila. Okay, Section 2, the classification of offenses for purposes of determining jurisdiction and applying the appropriate penalty. Administrative offenses are classified into light, less grave, and grave. Yung issue ng oppression at grave misconduct, nagfo-fall siya sa grave offenses. So as you can see here in Section 2, letter C, grave offenses. At number 3, grave misconduct shall include but not limited to the following. That is 3.7 or item 7, oppression is defined in Section 1 of Rule 21. Grave offenses siya. Sir, ano ba ang penalty ng grave offenses ng isang police officer na gumagamit ng dahas or oppression, no? I-proven guilty. Okay, so we have Rule 22 penalties. It's still in the NAPOLCOM, no? Under the NAPOLCOM or RA 8551. Sabi nito, for grave offenses, pwede siyang 60 days to 6 months suspension. That's a minimum. Pwede siyang 1 rank demotion, kung medium. And dismissal from the service. That is a maximum. That's actually the maximum penalty. So, meron din sinabi din ni Tayon. Sinabi dito ni Bato de la Rosa, and I find it very good to raise and contest the warrant of arrest because we have a 1987 constitutions that talks about how we are safe and how we are being properly protected by these people with authorities like the Philippine National Police and the military. Because Section 4 of the Article 2 of 1987 Constitution, it states that the prime duty of the government is to serve and protect the people. The government may call upon the people to defend the state, and in the fulfillment thereof, all citizens may be required under the condition provided by law to render personal, military, or civil service. So, of course, this actually also used in ROTC, you know, ito based is ROTC. Pero from the word itself, the prime duty of the government is to serve and protect the people. Now, the question is, if they want to protect the people, why did they they fail to use the maximum tolerance? In fact, it was an overkill. Bakit siya overkill? 2,000 police officer issued the warrant of arrest in a KOJC. Although it's a 300,000 square meter, ika nga ni Senator de la Rosa, during his time, sabi niya, as compared to the issue on Mama Sapano, yung Sub 44, sabi niya, 300 lang yung dineploy natin na na persons, no, na authority. We have 200 uniformed personnels at saka sub 44. So around 300 siya. In that case, actually, that person is notorious in general kasi he's a belligerent or it's a military. Kalaban nila persons na which is a militant or belligerent or kwan din, no? Notorious notorious because meron siyang baril, no? So they can retaliate. Pero sabi ni De La Rosa during that Senate hearing, bakit 2,000 sa KOJC? Hindi naman masyadong matakas, masyadong overkill yung pag-provide ng warrant of arrest by providing this 2,000 PNP personnel. In fact, Pastor Kibuloy, maybe a self-proclaimed, no, accordingly to other people or vloggers, influencers or some news, or he may be an appointed son, but he is just a leader of a religious group. He neither showed that he is a dangerous person. Like, hindi naman siya si Pablo Escobar. Hindi naman siya yung mga tao na belligerent person na nakatira somewhere else. That's belligerent sila, military sila. No, he is not. He's actually a preacher. No, he is religious and he claims that he's the appointed son of God. Which means that he is just within the sectarian or religious group. All right? So yun yung sinabi ni Bato de la Rosa. Before we proceed further, let's look at the news on the paano ba nagsimula yung KOJC. Sa mga nakakapanood, maraming salamat. Sa hindi nakapanood, panoorin po natin. Again, this is a courtesy of ABS-CBN.
2,000 pulis ang nagmarcha mula sa Camp Quintin Merecido hanggang sa compound ng Kingdom of Jesus Christ sa tabi lang ng Davao Airport bago mag-alas 4 Sabado ng madaling araw. Batuta at panangga ang dala ng karamihan pero may ibang may hawak na baril. Galing sila mula Davao Region at iba-ibang bahagi ng Mindanao.
Ang nanguna karandiri para sa pagpatuman sa warrant of arrest.
Sa pamamagitan ng tinatawag na long-range acoustic device, inaanunsyo ng pulisya na pakay nilang maghain muli ng arrest warrant kay KOJC leader Apollo Kibuloy at 5 pang akusado. Nahaharap sila sa mga kaso ng pang-aabuso sa Davao City Court at trafficking sa Korte ng Pasig City. Nagkaharap sina Police Regional Office 11 Director Brigadier General Nicolas Torre III at ang legal counsel ng KOJC na si Attorney Israelito Torion. Kinwestiyon ng abogado ang pagsisilbi ng arrest warrant.
Ito, Attorney.
Yes, sir.
Hindi ito ang lugar para tayo magdebate.
Yes, sir.
Kung may reklamo ka, maghain ka na lang ng reklamo. Pero ngayon, papasok kami sa ayon sa gusto mo. Okay?
Ipaalam ko lang po sana.
Sige, sabihin.
Sir, ganito po, may certification po ang NBI, sir.
Immaterial yan, Attorney.
Na-serve na daw yung alias
Immaterial
warrant
yan,
of arrest.
Attorney. Immaterial
Na-serve na
yan.
daw.
Kaya yung gibain ko ang gate. Pakibukas.
Binigyan ng PNP ang KOJC ng kalahating oras para kusang buksan ang gate para maisilbi ang warrant. Dahil kung hindi, puwersahang papasukin ng mga alagad ng batas ang compound. Dismayado naman ang mga miyembro dahil nauna na umanong pinasok ng mga pulis ang likurang bahagi ng compound.
It would not be a consented search, sir.
Kalaunan, binuksan din ang gate at maayos na nakapasok ang mahigit 1,000 pulis. Hindi na pinayagan sa loob ang media, pero makikita mula sa LED screen ng Kingdom ang pangyayari sa loob. Pinasok ng mga pulis ang mga gusali, mga opisina at maging ang paaralan. Nagkatensyon naman sa pagitan ng mga miyembro ng KOJC at mga pulis sa compound. Isang ambulansya ang pinapasok dahil may ilan umanong naiulat na nasaktan. Ayon sa KOJC, ilang miyembro ng kanilang kampo ang naapektuhan dahil naghagis umano ng tear gas ang mga pulis. May ilang miyembro din umanong nasaktan sa pagpasok ng mga pulis sa ilang lugar.
May possibility, depende naman kasi yun sa sitwasyon sa loob, kung kailangan ba or hindi. Kung meron mga paghagis ng tear gas, ay naaayon din naman yun sa police operational procedures.
Pero isang 50 taong gulang na miyembro ang iniulat na namatay dahil sa cardiac arrest. Pero nilinaw ni Police Major De La Rey na dahil umano ito sa labis na pagkahapo dahil magdamag siyang nagbantay sa tore ng compound. Ayon sa PNP, Malaki ang tiwala nila sa kanilang impormasyon na nasa loob lamang ng compound si Kibuloy.
We are not terrorists. We are peace-loving people.
Ikinagalit naman ng mga miyembro ng pagbawalan na silang pumasok sa compound pero pwede namang lumabas ang mga nasa loob ng compound. Ayon sa KOJC, nasa 22 istruktura sa loob ng compound ang nahalughog na ng PNP.
Basta nagka-disagree kami kasi ang stand namin more than 8 hours na sila, dapat yung arrest warrant tapos na. Meron pa daw siyang isang area daw na kailangang puntahan, pero may ongoing kaming usapan ngayon, parang i-hold muna niya pending na meron kaming usapan na ginagawa.
Iginiit ng PNP na hindi sila titigil sa pag-ikot at paghalughog sa bawat sulok ng ilang ektaryang KOJC compound hanggang mahanap ang mga target ng warrant of arrest. Hernel Tokmo, ABS-CBN News, Davao City.
Okay, so we have also seen yung issue nung... Okay, so nung nangyari, yun, nakita naman natin yung ganap. So I think very self-explanatory yung nangyari, no? Now let's go to nung nangyari itong issue na to na warrant of arrest. So nagkagulo na siya mga nakalimang araw. So ang epekto dito is nagkaroon din ng problema kasi yung daanan niya kasi nagrally, no? Nakita natin nagrally yung mga members ng KOJC, nagrally din sila doon sa Malacanang, sa Manila. So grabe talaga, massive talaga yung rally. So ang nangyari dito sa rally dito sa Davao area, dahil nagrally itong mga members ng KOJC, ang nangyari is na-stop yung kalsada, hindi na magamit. And a lot of flights were suspended kasi yun nga, hindi makadaan yung mga sasakyan. Alright? So dahil hindi makadaan yung sasakyan, may naganap. So ang ginawa ng ating Kingdom of Jesus Christ at saka si Jose Marian College Foundation, nag-file sila against Honorable Abalos of the Secretary of DILG at saka PNP na naglalayon ng temporary protection order. Allah, di ba sir, dapat temporary restraining order, TRO, or preliminary injunction para ma-stop yung ating warrant of arrest. So sige, kwento natin. Pero sabi dito, ito, no, this was actually filed, if I'm not mistaken, around 27 ba? 27, kung hindi nagkakamali. Teka lang. 27. That is, ano bang araw ngayon? Anong araw ngayon? Today is 28, kahapon. So, kahapon siya nagyari, ginawa yung temporary restraining order. So, basahin natin ha. Temporary protection order in verified petition filed last July 1, 2024 by the KOJC, the name above, and Jose Maria College Foundation against Benjamin Abalos in his capacity as Secretary of Department of Interior and Local Government, PNP, et al. Petitioners allege that their right to life, liberty, and security is violated or threatened with violation by an unlawful act or omission of the respondents. Thus, petitioners seeks for the issuance of a writ of amparo, among others. Now, in resolution 2020-24, dated July 1, 2024, the RTC judge found no urgent necessity for the issuance of the writ and the order of immediate raffling of the case among the regular court. Accordingly, this petition was raffled to this court on July 3, 2024, and corresponding order was issued on July 8, 2024, directing respondents to file their comment within 15 days from the receipt of this order. Okay. Around 5 o'clock on the morning in the August 24, 2024, the PNP 12 armed with a warrant of arrest entered the compound of KUGC and JMCPI FI located along the Phil Japan Friendship Highway sa Davao City in search for Pastor Apollo Kibuloy and other individuals as remained thereat since then. It barricaded the ingress egress and regress of the compound and imposing restrictions that hinders religious and academic activities of petitioners, officers, members, missionaries, and students, and among others. Supreme Court in Administrative Matter number 7912 SC governs the rule of the writ of amparo. Section 1 thereof provides the petition for a writ of amparo is a remedy available to any person whose right to life, liberty, and security is violated or threatened with violations by an unlawful act or omission of a public official or employee or of a private individual or entity. Paragraph A, Section 14 thereof also states that upon filing of the petition or at any time before the final judgment, the court, justice, or judge may grant any of the following reliefs. Temporary protection order. The court, justice, or judge, upon motion or motu proprio, may order that the petitioner or the aggrieved party and any member of the immediate family be protected in a government agency or by an accredited person or private institution capable of keeping and securing their safety. If the petitioner is an organization, association, or institution referred to in Section 2 of this rule, the protection may be extended to the officers involved. The court is not unaware of the recent incidents affecting the right to life, liberty, safety, and petitioners, its officers, and the members. The restrictions and control imposed by PNP 12 over and within the compound of KOGCs and GMC-FI noticeably trampled not only the property rights of the petitioner, its officers, and the members, but also the exercise of their religious freedom and academic rights, which are guaranteed by the Constitution. Hence, this court, under the current situation, sees the urgency to direct the PNP 12 to immediately cease and desist from any act or mission that threatens life, liberty, or security, as well as the properties of the petitioner. The PNP is hereby, so sabi ito is to remove the barricades and barriers and blockades that bar, blah, 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 basta compound and hinder petitioner religious academic property rights and pursuit thereof by its officers and members within the surrounding the premises. The office of the clerk of court, Regional Trial Court 12 or Regional Trial Court Branch 11 is directed to immediately serve this order to any senior PNP 11, correction PNP 11 yan, commanding officers present within the premises of KOGC and compound at their regional office. Okay. Ano ba sir ang temporary protection order? Nag-stop ba siya? Nagpa-stop ba siya sa warrant of arrest? No. Ayan. Bakit sir? Yes, although nag-submit po ang court ng branch 15 sa 11 judicial region ng ating regional trial court, it is a temporary protection order. If you're going to look at it, no, kung mapapansin nyo, ang inutos lang doon ng ating RTC to remove the blockades and the barricades. Remove lang. Wala namang sinabing umalis kayo doon, di ba? So, it is good yung mga barricades at mga blockades para makadaan yung mga sasakyan, para kung pwedeng pumasok yung mga religious people or religious members so that they could practice their right to pray. No, right to right to exercise their faith, 'di ba? Pero hindi siya nag-stop doon sa pag-proceed ng ating kapulisan sa pag-issue ng kailang warrant of arrest and finding and looking for Pastor Kibuloy. Ayun. So, ibig sabihin, yes, temporary protection order was there. Nakatulong siya to remove the blockage, barricades, but it did not stop the filing of issuance but it did not stop the issuance of the warrant of arrest. Bakit? Ito po ang sinabi po ng isa sa spokesperson po ng Supreme Court. Okay, sabi ng Supreme Court, ito.
Sa isang pahayag ng tagapagsalita ng Korte Suprema na si Camille Tinga, kinumpirma nito ang paglalabas ng Temporary Protection Order na inisyu ng Davao City Regional Trial Court Branch 15 kaugnay sa inihaing writ of amparo ng Kingdom of Jesus Christ o KOJC at Jose Maria College Foundation. Pero nilinaw ng Supreme Court, Hindi mapipigilan ng kautusan ng korte ang pagsisilbi ng warrant of arrest ng mga pulis laban kay Apollo Kibuloy. Ang utos ay tanggalin ang barikada at iba pang harang papunta at palabas ng KOJC at JMCFI compound.
Okay, so makita po natin.
Sa isang pahayag,
Okay, so yun yung isa sa mga napansin ko na makakatulong doon, no, na hindi pa rin po sufficient, no. Although nakatulong din, pero it did not stop the warrant of arrest. Okay, so we're now going to move to our last part. Nakita natin yung issue na ang nag-file ng ating warrant of arrest is, according sa mga balita, kasi natin nakita yung contents, is sa Pasig, RTC sa Pasig, RTC din sa QC, Quezon City, sa Manila, and warrant of arrest din galing sa Congress. Now, after that, nagkaroon ng warrant of arrest, dumating yung temporary protection order. Take note, RTC ang pag ginausapan natin. Let's say, for example, have you ever wondered na hindi nag-file yung court natin, yung court ng Davao, ng temporary restraining order or preliminary injunction? Zero ba itong TRO at saka preliminary injunction? Ito yung, kumbaga, nag-stop ng activity. Pag ang court ay mag-grant niya yung temporary restraining order at saka preliminary injunction, let's say for example, sa case ng warrant of arrest, masa-stop yung warrant of arrest. No? Court order yun eh. Pero bakit nga ba hindi ginamit sa case na to? Instead na TRO, naging temporary protection order. Kasi, ang major na tanong dyan, can an RTC's court order be invalidated by another RTC order? Kung ba ika-counter niya, pwede bang i-counter ng isang RTC yung order ng ibang RTC? Kasi of co-equal yan. So maganda yung pag-usapan din natin yan. Meron tayo tinatawag na the doctrine of judicial stability. Please take note of that, dahil nagbigay yung Regional Trial Court ng warrant of arrest against Pastor Kibuloy, hindi pwede na ang petitioner or any person na mag-file sa ibang Regional Trial Court, let's say for example sa Davao, ng preliminary injunction to counter, no, to contest, to invalidate the warrant of arrest. Hindi niya pwedeng gawin yun. Ang the best possible and the least possible that the petitioner could do is that kung merong warrant of arrest, yung person na yun or any person affected can file a motion for reconsideration doon sa court ng nagbigay ng court order. Hindi siya pwedeng magbigay sa ibang RTC. So kung ang petitioner natin dito gusto niya talagang i-contest, mag-file siya ng MR doon sa Pasig o sa QC. Or kung applicable man, mag-motion for reconsideration siya sa Congress. Alright? Allegedly, sila din sa Congress ay nag-submit din daw or nag-issue din ng warrant of arrest. So, kung hindi, pwede kang mag-appeal sa Court of Appeals. Ayan. Pero nakita natin dito, nag-file sila sa ibang regional trial court. Pero hindi siya TRO at saka hindi siya PI. Temporary Protection Order. Ano yung nilalaman na Temporary Protection Order? Pag-remove ng mga barricades, pag-remove doon ng mga blockades kasi nakakaharang na siya sa mga taong or mga sasakyan, pampubliko o pribado na pupunta sa airport para hindi na sila maka-create ng traffic problema, at saka yung life and liberty and their rights to pray or to practice, no, their worship. So yun din tinanggal para yung mga members of the KOJC pwede silang pumasok. Ayan. Kaya nga sinasabi doon na hindi pa rin apektado yung warrant of arrest kasi wala namang sinabi yung ating Davao RTC na, hoy, tigilan nyo yan. Bakit? Because of the doctrine of judicial stability. Ibig sabihin, yung order ng isang regional trial court ay hindi pwedeng stop ng order ng ibang regional trial court. Kasi regional trial court and regional trial court are co-equal courts. Sabi dito sa case ni Gaudencio versus Honorable Gelada, on October 8, 2018, although involving the issuance of a temporary restraining order, our pronouncement in Attorney Kabili versus Judge Balindong explains the importance of maintaining a policy of non-interference over the judgments or orders of a co-equal court. To wit, the doctrine of judicial stability or non-interference in the regular orders or judgment of a co-equal court is an elementary principle in the administration of justice. No court can interfere by injunction with the judgments or orders of another court of concurrent jurisdiction having the power grant the relief sought by the injunction. Bawal ka pong mag-file ng injunction or temporary restraining order against the judgment and the orders of your co-equal courts. Kaya doon sa case na doon sa case ng ni Pastor Kibuloy, hindi ginamit yung temporary restraining order to stop the court order. Ang sinabi lang doon is temporary protection order. Bakit? Kasi their life, the liberty, no? Yung their life, the liberty, their rights to worship, yung right nung gamit nila yung kalsada, masyado nang nakaka-traffic na, yun ang pinatanggal po ng court. To expound more about this doctrine of judicial stability, we also have here ang isa sa mga lecturer, bar reviewer ko na si Attorney Tranquil Salvador, and he is also our bar examiner on our 2023, no, last year, nag-take ako ng bar exam. He is my bar examiner sa Hernando Bar. So sabi po dito, no, according courtesy of Manila Standard, gina-explain to ni Attorney Tranquil Salvador on his 2022, this is actually a footnote in 2022, entitled Maintaining Judicial Stability. Okay, parties who disagree with a judgment, order, or resolution made by the court may file a motion for reconsideration in the same action or appeal the decision to the next level court. They cannot question the judgment or order or resolution by commencing another action in co-equal court. Malinaw sa malinaw, sinabi doon, pag hindi ka disagree, hindi ka satisfied, huwag kang mag-file sa ibang court, no? Instead, ang gawin mo is mag-file ka ng motion for reconsideration or mag-appeal ka sa next level court. So kung RTC yan, diretso ka agad sa Court of Appeals. Kung mag-start ka sa Municipal Trial Court, RTC yung i-appeal mo. So of course, no, we have to respect the hierarchy of courts. This is known as the doctrine of judicial stability or non-interference in the regular orders or judgments of a co-equal court. No court can interfere by the injunction or by injunction with the judgments or orders of another court of concurrent jurisdiction. The rule is founded on the concept of jurisdiction. It means that a court shall have jurisdiction over its judgment, excluding all other coordinate courts. This jurisdiction extends to the execution of the judgment and all of its incidents, including ministerial acts of officers implementing the judgment. Ibig sabihin, ministerial yung ginawa. Anong ministerial? Sinusunod lang ng ating PNP yung nakasulat sa warrant of arrest. So, hindi yun mapipigilan ng ibang RTC. Kailangan mo lang gawin is mag-file ka ng motion for reconsideration doon sa court na naghain na or nag-issue ng warrant of arrest or mag-appeal ka sa Court of Appeals. Alright? Please take note of that. To allow the breaking down of the incident of an execution is to split the jurisdiction of courts. Ibig sabihin nito, pwede siyang forum shopping. Malalaman nyo yan sa criminal procedure natin soon. Splitting of jurisdiction is not allowed by our courts in one case. Eto na, jurisprudence tayo. In one case, a court in Cebu entertained a motion and issued an order involving the Manila Golf and Country Club Incorporated, share in custodia lehis, by virtue of a writ of attachment issued by co-equal court in Makati. So ibig sabihin no, meron ng motion na na-issue sa isang company through custodia lehis or in custody, no? I think the property is in custody to. Most probably custodia lehis. This property is pending trial pa siya. So kinukuha yung isang property in custody, no, sa court, no. Gumamit ng rate of attachment sa co-equal court, no, gumamit siya ng RTC na ibang sa ibang RTC, which is wrong, no. It's actually invalid. Another one, in the case of Coronado Rojas, Judge Rojas was administrative sanctioned when he enjoined a final and executory decision of HLURB, a co-equal body. Ayan. Another one is his excuse that the temporary restraining order and the writ of injunction he issued were not directed against the HLURB writ of execution, but only against the manner of execution was too shallow and facetious. Next, similarly, the court penalized 2 judges for issuing TRO against the execution of a demolition order issued by another co-equal court. Ibig sabihin, isang court nag-issue ng demolition order, pero yung isang court naghain or nag-issue ng TRO against doon sa RTC na yun. Magkakapare-pare sila, they're co-equal. Na-sanction sila. Another one, sabi ng Supreme Court, the court stressed that when the respondent judges acted on the application for the issuance of a TRO, they were aware that they were acting on matters pertaining to a co-equal court. This is actually in the case of Cabili versus Balindong, sinabi ko kanina, and Simeon and Estrella. All these cases aim to illustrate that the judgment of a court of competent jurisdiction may not be opened, modified, or vacated by any court of concurrent jurisdiction. Applying the case of Cabili versus Balindong, the Supreme Court said it is quite clear that in this case, the issuance of the subject of writ of preliminary injunction was improper and thus correctable by certiorari. Herein, the respondent judge does not have jurisdiction to hinder the enforcement of an order of a co-equal court. So ito pinaka-good, no? Napagandang applicability to Cabili versus Balindong kasi hindi mo pwedeng gamitan ng ibang TRO at saka writ of preliminary injunction yung order or warrant of arrest ng ibang co-equal court. Determining whether a case pending in one court interferes with the jurisdiction of co-equal court goes back to the judge's judicial competence. Being in the front lines of the judicial system, they are given the important task of ascertaining which cases filed before them may initially be prosper and be heard in court. Ika nga, ito naman may morality. This is actually in terms of morality, and sinali ko na to, no, courtesy of SMNI, pero ang sinali ko to yung issue ni Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa, not because he is a legislator or a senator, but him as a former chief of the Philippine National Police, comparing what he has done and what the PNP director made in the execution of the warrant of arrest. So sabi niya dito, no, as a former chief of the Philippine National Police, I have not encountered an operation to implement a warrant of arrest wherein we deploy forces close to 2,000 people or 2,000 police officer. To compare, the PNP also implemented a warrant of arrest against Zulkifli, here also known as Marwan. Ito yata yung mamasapa, no? In the performance of the warrant against Marwan, the PNP only deployed 44 members of the Special Action Force and more than 200 police officers as backup. Allow me to do the math. Less than 300 officers to enforce a warrant against Marwan, who was then protected by more than 1,000 heavily armed Bangsamoro Islamic Federal fighters and private armed groups around the so-called SPMS box. This includes Mama Sapano versus the 2,000 personnel or police officer to arrest Pastor Kibuloy. So also no, nag-submit din yung ating IBP, medyo may pagkahaba dito, pero because yung parang sinasabi niya dito is why they respect the enforcement of the warrant of arrest, still pa rin ginakondem pa rin ng ating IBP Davao chapter yung lahat ng bagay na excessive, no, and irregularities in the performance of the duties of this Philippine National Police in issuing the warrant of arrest. Yung sinasabi nila, no, although wala man siyang direct, pero ang sinabi lang dito, pinakalas, we must abide by the rule of law because the consequence of failing to do so will be chaos in our society and violence against our citizen. So I hope no na marami tayong naintindihan insofar as the warrant of arrest is concerned. Nasa sa inyo kung ano yung magiging judgment ninyo dito sa kaso ng warrant of arrest against Pastor Kibuloy and the issuance of this order in the KOJC compound. I mean, for me, again, sinasabi ko nga, para sa akin, it's valid. At the same time, it may not be invalid. Pero, you know, at the end of the day, we have our own subjective decisions and opinion. Pero I hope na nakatulong po ang ating topic for today. Again, maraming salamat sa mga nanonood. Again and again and again, ito po ang inyong Kuya sa Batas po na nagsasabi sa inyo na mahalin nyo ang inyong asawa dahil sila po ang tunay na batas. Bye-bye!